Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we will dive into the massive Friday, April 10 episode where Deacon finally dumps Sheila for good, Hope defends her dad, and Ridge gets big mad at Taylor. So let's just get right into it, because this Friday episode is going to be absolutely insane, and I mean really wild, because Deacon Sharp is finally doing the thing. He is actually telling Sheila Carter that it is over. And I am just sitting here wondering how this guy is still walking around, because we all know Sheila, we know what she does, but Deacon is just standing there telling her he is ready to move on. And it is just crazy to watch. So let's break down this entire mess, because it is a massive mess. And Sheila is just losing her mind. She is literally begging him. The spoilers say she asked Deacon if their memories meant anything to him. And she brings up the proposal. She says, "You proposed to me, you made a promise to me." And she even drops the whole "until death do us part" line, which is just terrifying coming from Sheila. Because when Sheila says death, she usually means it literally. And she reminds him that was his vow to her. So she is really trying to guilt trip him, trying to make him feel like the bad guy, even though she is a literal psychopath. But Deacon is just standing his ground, which is shocking. Because usually Deacon caves, but not this time. He is telling her the marriage is over, and he is ready to move on. And Sheila is just not having it. She is crying and begging, saying, "Don't abandon me like everyone else." And that right there is the core of Sheila Carter. She always feels abandoned. She always plays the victim. Everyone always leaves her. But she never stops to think maybe it is because she shoots people, or cuts off her own toes, or waves pizza cutters at their friends. She just blames them. So she tells him she will do anything. She says, "Please tell me our marriage, it's not over." And it is almost sad, almost, if it was anyone else but Sheila, but it is Sheila. So you just know this sadness is gonna turn into rage, because that is what she does. She gets sad, then she gets mad, then she gets even. And Deacon has to know this. He has to know he is poking a bear, a very dangerous bear. But he is just so blinded by his love for Taylor, which is a whole other crazy thing. And then Sheila does the thing that gave me goosebumps. She sends a literal chill down Deacon's spine, because she wonders aloud if he really thinks leaving her for Taylor is wise. Is it wise, Deacon? That is a threat. That is a straight up classic Sheila Carter threat. She is basically saying you better watch your back, and Taylor better watch her back. Because Sheila does not just let things go. She does not just sign divorce papers and walk away. She plots, she schemes. But Deacon just admits to her that he didn't want their relationship to end originally. He actually meant for them to be together forever, which is just gross to think about. Why did he ever want to be with her forever? But whatever. He tells her that. But then he says he is not backing down. He is determined that the woman he is meant to be with is Taylor. So he looks Sheila right in the eye and tells her the marriage is over. Boom. Just like that, Deacon Sharp actually grew a backbone. And I just can't even process how stupid and brave Deacon is being right now. Because you do not just dump Sheila to her face. You run, you hide, you change your name. But he is just doing it right there at Il Giardino. And the big question is, will Sheila be willing to let her husband leave her without a fight? The spoilers ask that. And the answer is obviously no. She is not going to just let him go. She is going to make his life a living hell. And probably Taylor's life too, because Sheila never loses gracefully. So while all this crazy drama is happening with Deacon and Sheila, we have Hope Logan Spencer across town. And Hope is just doing what Hope always does. She is defending her dad. The spoilers say Hope will defend her father's actions. And B spoilers tease all Hope really wants for her dear old dad is his happiness, which is sweet, but also kind of naive, because her dad is a mess. He always makes huge messes, and Hope always has to clean them up, or at least defend him to everyone else. And it is just so funny to me, because Hope was literally Sheila's maid of honor. Let's not forget that. The spoilers remind us that she wasn't happy when he married Sheila, of all people. But she not only attended the wedding, she served as her maid of honor, which was the craziest writing ever. Hope Logan standing up there for Sheila Carter. It made no sense, but she did it for her dad, because she loves him. And she wants him to be happy. even if his happiness is a crazy criminal. But now that he has fallen out of love with his wife, Hope couldn't be more relieved. The scoop says she is just so relieved. And I would be too, because having Sheila as a stepmom has to be exhausting. You always have to check your drinks, you always have to look over your shoulder. So Hope is just thrilled that Deacon is finally waking up. And she completely supports Deacon's budding relationship with Taylor, which is wild because Taylor is Steffi's mom, and Hope and Steffi hate each other. And the spoilers say she supports it, even though it has put both him and the psychiatrist in danger. Because Hope knows Sheila is dangerous, she knows Taylor is in danger now, and Deacon is in danger, but she still thinks it is worth it, because Taylor is a massive upgrade from Sheila. Anyone is an upgrade from Sheila. A rock is an upgrade. So Hope is just all in on Team Taylor and Deacon, which is going to cause so many problems. So many problems with the Forresters. Because who will Hope be defending her dad to? The spoilers ask that, and it is obvious. It is Steffi. Steffi Forrester is going to be screaming at Hope, because Steffi always screams. She is going to blame Deacon for everything. She is going to say Deacon brought Sheila into their lives again. Deacon put Taylor in danger. Deacon is a loser, and Hope is going to have to stand there and defend him. And Hope is probably going to point out that Taylor was not a victim here. Taylor was a willing participant, and that is the truth. Taylor kissed Deacon back. Taylor invited Deacon over. Taylor hid it from everyone. So Hope is totally right to defend her dad, because it takes two to tango. And Taylor was tangoing with a married man, a man married to a psycho. So Taylor is just as dumb as Deacon in this situation. And Hope is not going to let Steffi just trash Deacon without pointing out Taylor's part in all of this. It is going to be a massive Logan versus Forrester fight. Again, because they always fight. So let's move over to the Forresters, because their reaction is just so typical. The scoop says Ridge, Steffi, and John Finnegan were glad to see Taylor and were happy Sheila didn't harm her. Which makes sense. They love Taylor. They don't want her dead. And Sheila waving a pizza cutter around is terrifying. So they're all just breathing a sigh of relief that Taylor's still breathing. And Finn is probably just so embarrassed that his birth mom is acting like a lunatic again. But here's where it gets annoying. The spoilers say, however, Steffi and Ridge will not be thrilled when she continues to fret over Deacon's safety. And this is just so Ridge. Ridge is just the worst. He is glad Taylor is alive, but he is big mad that Taylor cares about Deacon, because Ridge has a massive ego. He thinks Taylor should only ever care about him, even though he dumped her for Brooke. Again, he still wants Taylor to just sit on a shelf and wait for him. And Steffi is just like her dad. She wants her mom to be perfect. She wants her mom to hate Deacon, because Steffi hates Deacon. So when Taylor is sitting there fretting, worrying if Deacon is okay, worrying if Sheila is hurting him, Ridge and Steffi are just getting frustrated. They are rolling their eyes. They are probably yelling at her, telling her to forget about that loser. But Taylor can't, because Taylor is in love with him. And they just don't want to accept that. And Taylor is just glaring at Ridge. The B&B scoop literally says Taylor glares at Ridge, and I love that for her, because Ridge needs to be glared at. He thinks he can just dictate her feelings. He thinks he can just tell her who to love and who to worry about. But Taylor is finally standing up for herself. She is finally choosing a man who actually puts her first, because Ridge never put her first. Ridge always put Brooke first. So Ridge has no right to be frustrated with her. But Ridge is going to complain anyway. He is going to puff out his chest. He is going to say Deacon is a criminal. Deacon is trash. And Taylor is going to glare at him, and she is going to keep worrying about Deacon, because she knows Deacon is right now facing down the devil. He is facing down Sheila, and Taylor knows how dangerous that is, because she just had a pizza cutter waved in her face. So her fretting is completely justified. She is worried her new boyfriend is going to get murdered. And it just shows how disconnected Ridge and Steffi are from reality. They just want to sweep it under the rug. They want Taylor to just go back to being boring Taylor. But Taylor is spicy now. Taylor is sneaking around with the bad boy. And she is not going to just stop caring about him, because Ridge is throwing a tantrum. Ridge always throws tantrums. It is his default setting. And Steffi always backs him up. So it is just Taylor against her own family right now, which is sad. But it is also great TV, because we finally get to see Taylor have a backbone against Ridge. She is picking Deacon over Ridge's approval, and that is huge. That is a massive character shift for Taylor. She spent decades crying over Ridge, decades letting him bounce between her and Brooke, and now she has a guy who is literally risking his life to dump Sheila for her. Of course she is fretting over his safety. She actually feels loved for once, and Ridge just can't handle it. So, what is going to happen next? Because this Friday episode is setting up so much stuff, Deacon is standing firm. He is telling Sheila it is over. Sheila is begging. Then she is threatening, asking if it is wise. Hope is gearing up for a war with Steffi to defend her dad. And Ridge is whining because his ex-wife likes someone else. It is just a perfect storm of soap opera drama, and I am here for every single second of it. Because it is raw, and it is messy. And we have to talk more about Sheila's threat. Is it wise? That is just so creepy. Because Sheila doesn't make empty threats when she says something like that. She is already planning, her brain is already working out how to ruin them. She might not shoot them. Because she said she doesn't want to go back to prison. But there are other ways to ruin people. She could go after the restaurant. She could try to get Taylor's medical license revoked. Because Taylor slept with a patient. And that is a huge deal. Taylor was technically treating Sheila. And Deacon is Sheila's husband. So there are ethical lines crossed everywhere. And Sheila knows that. Sheila is smart. She might be crazy, but she is very smart. So when she asks Deacon if it is wise, she is letting him know that he is starting a war. And Sheila Carter never loses a war. She might retreat for a bit, but she always comes back. And Deacon is just too dumb to realize how bad this could get. But Deacon is just so focused on Taylor. He thinks love will conquer all, which is so stupid. Love doesn't conquer Sheila. Bullets barely conquer Sheila. So Deacon is just living in a fantasy world right now. He thinks he can just say, I want a divorce, and Sheila will just pack her bags and leave town. No, she is going to stay right there. She is going to watch them. She is going to wait for the perfect moment to strike. And Taylor is right to be fretting. And Hope. Poor Hope. She thinks this is a victory. She thinks her dad is finally free. But she is just painting a target on her own back too. Because if Hope supports Deacon and Taylor, Sheila will see that as a betrayal. Hope was her maid of honor. Sheila thought Hope accepted her. So if Hope turns on her now, Sheila might go after Hope too. And Hope has kids. It is just a disaster waiting to happen. But Hope is just too relieved to see the danger. And Steffi is just going to use this to hate the Logans even more. She's going to say Hope is enabling Deacon. She's going to say the Logans are trash. It is just going to fuel the fire. And Ridge is going to side with Steffi. And Brooke is probably going to side with Hope. So we are right back to the Forcers versus the Logans. All because Deacon Sharp couldn't keep his hands off Taylor Hayes. It is just incredible how one stupid decision ripples out and affects everyone. But let's go back to that scene with Deacon and Sheila. I just can't get over the dialogue. You proposed to me. She is really trying to play the victim. Sheila Carter, the woman who has terrorized Los Angeles for decades, is crying about a broken promise. It is almost funny, but it's not, because she is serious. She really believes she is the wrong party here. She believes Deacon owes her. And in her twisted mind, that gives her the right to do whatever she wants next. And Deacon saying he meant for them to be together forever. Why did he say that? He should have just said it was a mistake. But he gave her that little bit of hope. He validated her delusion that they had a real epic love story. And that is dangerous. Because now she thinks Taylor stole her epic love. She doesn't think Deacon just woke up. She thinks Taylor manipulated him. Because Sheila always blames the other woman. She never blames the man. It is always the other woman's fault. So Taylor is public enemy number one, and Taylor knows it. That is why she is fretting. She knows Sheila is coming for her, and Ridge is just telling her to calm down. Ridge is so clueless. He thinks because he is Ridge Forrester, he can just protect everyone with his jawline. But he can't. Sheila has shot his family members before. She shot Taylor before! Literally, she shot Taylor. And Ridge is just annoyed that Taylor is worried. It makes me want to throw my remote at the TV. And Finn is just standing there, probably looking confused. Like he always does. He is glad Taylor is safe. But he has to be terrified too. Because that is his crazy mother. and he knows what she is capable of. He knows Steffi is going to go on a rampage against Sheila now. And Finn is going to be caught in the middle. Again. Because Finn is always caught in the middle. But at least he is supporting Steffi. Even if Steffi is being annoying about the whole thing. So Friday is going to be the climax of this whole storyline. The breakup. The official end of Deacon and Sheila. It is going to be emotional. It is going to be tense. And it is going to set up the next 6 months of storylines. Because a single angry Sheila is the best kind of Sheila. We are going to get prime villain Sheila back. No more playing house. No more serving pizza. She is going to be on the warpath. And I cannot wait to see it. And I just hope Deacon realizes what he has done when he walks away from her. When he leaves her standing there crying. He better look over his shoulder every single day. Because she is not going to forget this. Until death do us part. She meant that. And she might just make sure that part comes true. Because nobody abandons Sheila Carter and gets away with it. Nobody. And Deacon is about to learn that the hard way. And Hope is going to learn it too. She is defending him now. But when Sheila starts her revenge, Hope is going to regret ever being involved. She is going to regret being that maid of honor. She is going to regret everything. Because Sheila's collateral damage is always huge. And the Logans are always right in the crosshairs. So Hope better stop smiling and start preparing. Because the storm is coming. And it is wearing a psychotic smile. And as for Ridge and Taylor, I just hope Taylor keeps glaring at him. I hope she tells him to shut up. I hope she tells him to go back to Brooke and leave her alone. Because she deserves to fret. She deserves to care about the man she loves. And Ridge deserves to sit there and be jealous. It is about time Ridge felt what it is like to be the one left behind. To be the one watching his ex move on. It is karma. Pure soap opera karma. So make sure you tune in this Friday because you do not want to miss a single second of this confrontation. The acting is going to be amazing. The dialogue is going to be clunky but great. And the fallout is going to be massive. We are talking about the end of an era, the end of the weirdest marriage in soap history, and the beginning of a whole new war. And I will be right here to break it all down for you next week. Because there is so much more to come. Will Sheila go after the restaurant? Will she go after Taylor's license? Will Ridge actually do something useful for once? Probably not. But we can hope. And we can watch Steffi yell at Hope some more. Because that never gets old. Actually, it does get old. But they are going to do it anyway. So get ready for the screaming matches. Get ready for the glaring. And get ready for Sheila to unleash hell. It is going to be a bumpy ride. And Deacon is driving the car right off a cliff. But at least he has Taylor in the passenger seat. Even if Ridge is in the back seat complaining the whole time, it is just perfect daytime television. So grab your popcorn, because Friday, April 10 is going to go down in history. The day Deacon Sharp finally stood up to Sheila Carter. And the day Sheila Carter started planning her ultimate revenge. I am just so exhausted even thinking about it. Typing this out is making my fingers hurt. Because there is just so much drama packed into one single episode. But that is why we love this show. That is why we keep watching. Because just when you think it can't get any crazier, they throw a pizza cutter and a divorce into the mix. And we are hooked all over again. So let's see what happens. Let's see if Deacon survives the weekend. And let's see if Taylor stops fretting long enough to actually enjoy her new man. Because she earned it. She survived the pizza cutter. She survived Ridge's complaining. She deserves a nice dinner at Il Giardino, assuming Sheila doesn't poison the pasta, which is a very real possibility now. So maybe they should just eat at home. Yeah, definitely eat at home, away from the crazy ex-wife. Alright, that is all I have for today. My brain is fried from all this Forrester and Logan and Sharp drama, but it is so good. So good. Don't forget to let me know what you think. Do you think Deacon is stupid or brave? Do you think Hope is right to defend him? And do you think Ridge needs to just get over himself? Because I definitely do. See you next time for more crazy soap updates.